Kevin Conklin, I'm the Vice President of Operations for Pandora Americas. When we were looking at new office space, it was important for us to really concentrate on a few things for Pandora. First and foremost, it was important for our folks to be able to work in an environment that was creative. We also needed an environment that was open and full of energy, and that was equally important for us. And last but not least, we needed an environment that could stand the test of time. We needed a space that wouldn't grow old and tired over the next 5 to 20 years. For us, we looked at quite a few different vendors out there. And what it came down to us is we found American Office and Herman Miller's product was far superior, but not just superior product, we found their customer service and service levels for us 10 times better than everybody else. It turned less of a vendor relationship and truly into a partnership, and ultimately involved as they became an extension of Pandora. At least that's how we felt. I would say ultimately it's around the customer service. The product is by far superior and lasts and looks phenomenal. But when you're dealing with installation, when you're dealing with design, we found that there was nobody better to work with than American Office and Herman Miller. From our standpoint, it was critical when you move into a downtown space. Space is at a premium and it's very expensive. And the last thing we wanted to be able to do was, as we grew, take on more floors. It's too costly to be able to do that. So working with American Office and Herman Miller, it became a very easy process for us to figure out and design product that would work and allow us to expand our personnel without actually expanding floors. And so really where they were superior for Pandora was the ability to work on that design and come up with solutions. So it was a true business partnership. For Pandora, when we were looking at locations we wanted to move to, it was important for us to retain our employee base. We did not want to lose them. So one of the first things we did was we looked at a heat map and realized, or studied where all of our employees lived. And once we understood where they lived, it really narrowed down the locations for us of where we could possibly move. And downtown Baltimore was one of those key areas. And then when we looked at downtown Baltimore, we had a few things that were important to us. Ease of getting into the building. If you look at the Inner Harbor, it's very difficult to get down to Inner Harbor during rush hour traffic, and that's not a good thing for productivity. We needed an environment for our folks to park. They're used to parking in a normal parking lot, and so having a parking structure behind the building was a no-brainer for us here. And last but not least, two things that were critical for us is you can't beat the view. I think the views here are better than anywhere else in Baltimore, and the fact that we can put naming rights on the building was very important for us as well. For us, with working with American Office and Herman Miller, there was a few things that really stood out that were critical for us. It's one thing to be able to try to visualize and look at what the furniture is how it's gonna look and feel in the office environment. It's even more important when you can actually get a 3D rendering of that product itself. And so a good example was my office, as well as the other cubes. We were actually able to see how the furniture would look, and we could move it around with inside the office. And that was a huge selling feature for us. It's very important to not just hear how it's going to look and feel, but actually be able to see it. That was a big deal for us. And then when you look at the design features, which we've talked about already, as we continue to grow, we needed to be able to have flex space, so to speak. And the environment that we created with our cubes and the design we have with our cubes, we can easily go from a 3-person desk to a 4-person desk overnight. And the ability to hire in new people and not have to wait 3 to 6 weeks for new furniture is a big deal for us. So we were very happy with that design. So using American Office and Herman Miller was not just about the technology piece or the customer service. It's really about all of those things together. And a good example, a good story that I like to share, I happened to be at a partner show in Miami, and I was sitting next to our chief legal counsel talking about his office. And so we were sketching a few items of how his office should look on paper. So we liked it, so we sent it over to Carol and the American Office team to take a look. Within 20-30 minutes, we had a 3D rendering sent back to us via email of exactly what our sketch should look like. So Matt could actually see how his furniture would look, the colors and design. And so when you talk about features and opportunities like that, it's huge, and it makes it a no-brainer to go with Herman Miller and American Office.